Deep in the wild, where the earth holds secrets older than memory, Parker Schnabel stood staring at something unbelievable. A rusted giant, 40 feet long and 6.5 feet wide, half buried in dirt and tangled in vines. It was a trommel, a massive mining machine from a bygone era, left to rot in the Yukon wilderness. Most would have walked past, seeing nothing but scrap. But Parker, a young miner with a nose for gold, saw something else. A glint of possibility, a whisper of treasure. This wasn't just any old machine. This was a gold box, stuffed with riches worth over $400 million, forgotten for decades. How had no one noticed? Why was it left behind? The answers were buried in the rust, and Parker was determined to dig them out. The trommel, or TRL as the old miners called it, was a beast. Built back when mining was about raw power, not precision, it was designed to chew through tons of dirt every day, spinning and sifting to separate gold from gravel. But these old machines weren't perfect. Fine gold, the tiny specks that could make a man rich, often slipped through the cracks, piling up inside the drum over years of use. This particular TRL had been part of a massive operation, one that shut down abruptly decades ago. Rumors swirled among the locals. Some said the owners ran out of money. Others whispered of mechanical failures too big to fix. Whatever the reason, the machine was abandoned, left to the mercy of time and weather, its secrets locked inside. Parker's boots crunched through the overgrown brush as he circled the TRL, his breath visible in the cold Yukon air. He scraped at the grime with a gloved hand, peering into the rusted drum. That's when he saw it. A faint shimmer, a speck of gold caught in the light. His heart raced. He dug deeper, clawing through layers of dirt caked inside the machine. More gold. Not just a little, but chunks, nuggets, and fine dust, all trapped in the crevices. This wasn't just a lucky find. This was the kind of discovery that could change everything. He called his crew over, their faces skeptical at first. "You're telling me this old junk's got gold in it?" One of them muttered, kicking at a rusted bolt. But Parker was already lost in thought, piecing together the history of the site. He'd heard stories from old-timers in town, tales of a big mining outfit that collapsed overnight. They'd talked about this place like it was cursed, a black hole where dreams went to die. But Parker didn't believe in curses. He believed in gold, and he was standing on top of a fortune. Getting the TRL out of the wilderness was no small feat. The thing weighed tons, its steel frame sunk deep into the earth. There were no roads nearby, just muddy trails and dense forest. Parker's team brought in heavy trucks and cranes, working day and night to haul the beast out. Every move was a gamble. One wrong step, and the machine could break apart, its treasures lost forever. They planned every detail, securing chains, checking angles, and praying the old steel would hold. After days of sweat and swearing, they finally dragged it to their workshop, a battered giant ready for a second chance. The real work began in the shop. The TRL was a mess. Rust coated every inch, gears were seized, and the screens that sifted dirt were torn to shreds. Parker's crew tore into it, piece by piece. They sandblasted the rust, replaced broken parts, and welded new steel where the old had crumbled. It was slow, back-breaking work, the kind that made you question your sanity. But every time they uncovered another pocket of gold dust trapped in the drum, the team's spirits lifted. This wasn't just about fixing a machine. It was about unlocking a treasure chest. While they worked, Parker had another idea. The dirt around the TRL, the piles left behind from its working days, hadn't been touched in years. He sent samples to be tested, and the results hit like a thunderbolt. The ground wasn't just good. It was loaded, richer than anything Parker had ever mined. Every shovelful was packed with gold, as if the earth itself was begging to give up its secrets. This wasn't normal pay dirt. This was a jackpot, sitting right there in the open, waiting for someone to claim it. Parker didn't waste time. He set up a small processing plant right on the site, blending old-school mining tricks with cutting-edge tech. He installed new screens to catch the fine gold the TRL had missed and added hydraulic riffles to trap every last speck. The crew worked like a well-oiled machine, feeding dirt into the plant and watching gold pour out. Day after day, the totals climbed, hundreds of thousands, then millions. The numbers were staggering, faster than anyone had dreamed. But Parker wasn't just chasing dollars. He was chasing a legacy. As the crew dug deeper, they stumbled on something else. Old records, yellowed and brittle, tucked away in a forgotten shack nearby. The papers told a story of a bigger operation, a network of mining sites tied to this one TRL. Each site had its own machines, its own piles of dirt, and if the records were right, its own hidden gold. It was like finding a treasure map, each page pointing to another potential fortune. Parker's mind raced. This wasn't just one jackpot. It was the key to a dozen more. Restoring the TRL became more than a job. It was a journey into the past, a chance to honor the miners who'd come before. Every rusted bolt and dented panel told a story of men who'd risked everything for a shot at glory. They'd built this machine to chase their dreams, and now Parker was bringing it back to life. When the TRL finally roared to action, the sound was deafening, a deep, rhythmic hum that shook the ground. The massive drum spun smoothly, sifting dirt with a power that felt almost alive. Gold nuggets and fine dust flowed out, glittering in the sunlight. The crew stood in awe, watching a forgotten relic turn into a gold-producing titan. The results were beyond anything Parker could have imagined. By the time they were done, the TRL had churned out gold worth hundreds of millions. What had started as a rusty hulk in the dirt was now the heart of Parker's mining empire. But the impact went beyond his own operation. Word spread fast, and miners across the Yukon started looking at old equipment with new eyes. How many other trommels were out there, hiding gold no one had bothered to claim? Parker's find wasn't just a win for him. It was a wake-up call for an entire industry. Keeping the TRL running wasn't easy. Machines that old needed constant care, their parts wearing out faster than modern gear. Every day brought new challenges, broken bearings, clogged screens, or a drum that groaned under the strain. But Parker's team was relentless, patching and tweaking to keep the gold flowing. They knew what was at stake. This wasn't just about one machine. It was about proving that the past could still shape the future. The TRL became a symbol, not just of gold, but of hope. It showed that treasure wasn't always in new claims or shiny equipment. Sometimes, it was buried in the things everyone else ignored, rusted, broken, forgotten. Parker's story spread like wildfire, inspiring miners to comb through old sites, to look at junk piles with fresh eyes. They started asking questions. What else was out there? What other machines were waiting to be reborn? The project also changed how people thought about mining itself. Parker didn't just restore the TRL, he made it better. His team used modern sensors to track gold output, reducing waste and cutting down on environmental damage. They showed that you could mine smart, blending the grit of the old days with the precision of today. Local communities took notice, respecting a crew that cared about the land as much as the gold. It wasn't just about profit, it was about doing things right. As the sun set over the Yukon, Parker stood by the TRL, watching it spin. The machine was more than a tool now. It was a bridge to the past, a testament to hard work and vision. He thought about the miners who'd built it, men who'd poured their lives into this land. They hadn't found their fortune, but they'd left something behind, something Parker had turned into a legend. The gold was theirs, in a way, and he'd made sure their dreams didn't die in the dirt. The numbers kept climbing, the gold kept pouring, but for Parker, it was never just about the money. It was about the hunt, the challenge, the chance to turn rust into riches. He'd taken a gamble on a forgotten machine and won big, but he wasn't done. Those old records, the ones hinting at other sites, burned in his mind. Somewhere out there, more trommels were waiting, more gold hidden in plain sight. The Yukon was full. "Hey, Parker!" a crew member shouted, breaking his thoughts. "This thing's still kicking. You see the haul today?" Parker grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. "Yeah," he said, "and we're just getting started." The TRL's hum filled the air, a steady rhythm that echoed through the wilderness. It was a sound of triumph, of second chances, of gold pulled from the shadows. Parker's crew kept working, their hands dirty, their spirits high. They'd turned a relic into a powerhouse, and the world was watching. Miners everywhere were starting to rethink the past, to see treasure where others saw trash. And in the heart of the Yukon, Parker Schnabel was already planning his next move, chasing the next big find, knowing the real gold was in the journey itself.